Hello and welcome to the LEC edition of the Gold Advantage on the Bo3 Network. This is the take 2 one because I butchered and panicked and the first one after Scoot started the countdown before I was ready. We have the gruesome threesome together as opposed to the gruesome twosome as usual because BMB has decided to grace us with his presence once again for
that
the
Bo3
playoff
baby.
Edition. Exactly. Round one of playoffs.
It's really insane that you found a way to blame the guy with the best merch in the episode. Right here, baby. Bo3 Network hoodies, limited run. You know, these are fucking rare. The big logo hoodies are rare. But if you're at LCS finals in Chicago, Illinois, if you haven't heard us talking about it enough,
there?
yeah, me and Blivs will be there, just hanging out, probably interviewing some fans. I need to get a little portable USB mic for that.
Yeah.
Get some opinions on, LCS format, where things are falling short, where they're doing a good job, things like that. Who we think's gonna win. Every fun piece of content, and if you find a tweet maybe and come up to us, there could be a hoodie on the line. Also, extremely comfortable. I'm not even lying right now. Great choice, Chris, on the actual composition in the hoodie we selected.
Material,
it's
yeah.
extremely comfortable, sir.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how you can blame me for this. It's just not my fault.
I disagree.
Had to make a logo big enough for the whole world to see.
We're definitely getting our money's worth with this one.
Yeah, no, I like the logo.
There's no
Looks
doubt
good.
about that. So
Got to rep it at work.
I like it. Super comfortable. Heather Navy, if that's your color. Bang our fucking line. Dude, I'm so excited for LEC playoffs to start. I think this is going to be a very
Also,
interesting one.
if you're in our Discord, hit us up. We would love to reward the loyal.
We will, yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're a loyal listener.
So, but no one will be at the LEC finals, unfortunately. So this is all North American. For those of you in Europe listening, I don't know how many people we have. I think Cheese, maybe a couple of others in Europe.
So many.
You never really know where Chris
Where
and I
people
might
are.
pop up.
Exactly.
That's
True.
Like
I was just in Scotland for 2 weeks. Maybe I'll
Yeah,
get back.
He was.
Yeah, could have popped into the Berlin studio on your way back. Gone the
I don't
long
know
way
if you
home.
saw Chris get absolutely flamed on Twitter for his putting stroke, but I discovered
Oh,
that
really?
quote
I did not
That
see
was
that.
That was
good.
unbelievable.
Yeah,
Oh,
enjoy
you need
that.
to share that with me. I need to.
Yeah,
I need to
I
see
will.
that.
I will. It's I'll find the tweet in a second.
I know the one you're talking about. It's the one where he's like, I made it a birdie for like. I
Yeah,
know it's the long putt
like
that he was really proud of.
Yeah, he looks
yeah.
like he's pooping his pants though, like putting. Which I said I was vocal about this on Twitter, so I'm not gonna be scared to say it here.
I'm looking forward to it. It's a good one.
All I'm saying is I made an eagle.
Okay, well there you go.
Feel different.
3 matches this weekend. We have Rogue Mad Lions, Misfits G2, XL Fnatic. I think I'm actually only excited about the last match.
Really?
Yeah.
No, that can't be true.
No,
Yeah.
Rogue Mad Lions is a great
no,
match.
I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not
Nikita.
that excited.
Why?
Nikita,
I mean,
Nikita.
no. You know what he's doing?
lying.
Oh,
He's
he's
fucking
deflecting.
lying.
He's deflecting so hard right now.
No,
'cause
I'm
he's
not
a
that
Rogue
excited.
fan. You're so readable.
It's not.
Holy shit!
It's really depressing. Rogue is really
it's
not
so
good.
Oh my god, it's
Rogue
so
is really
depressing.
not good. I had a look through.
You're trying so hard to
I
switch to
decided
Juju
no.
right
I
now.
decided to look through the last 9 games. So in a lot of my research for like just kind of checking up stats and stuff, I focus on last 9 just so we have a more relevant patch.
Sure.
And it's like Mad Lions are significantly better at GPR, GSPD, early game rating, gold at 15. Rogue only beats them at mid to late game rating. And then when you look at individual stats, like First Blood, Mad Lions First Blood, 56% to Rogue's 33%. Rogue is in 10th place for that. First Tower, Rogue again in 10th place with 33%. Mad Lions is in 2nd place with 67%. It's like, you look across the board, it's just like, Mad Lions is just better than Rogue. Even though Mad Lions kind of slumped at the end of the season.
By the way, you say all this like it's a bad thing. The odds are god even right now. I got 1.92 to 1.90. So what are you complaining about? You got
You'd be
Mad
making
Lions.
a huge mistake.
You have Mad Lions at even money against a team that's a massively inferior. -1.5 for Mad Lions is 2.80.
Yeah, and I love that bet. I love it. Breaks my heart, but I love
Yeah,
it.
you guys love it. Okay, sure. I mean, listen, end of the day, we got Nikki over here. He's trying to switch the vibes on his team that he's, oh my God, they're so good every year going into playoffs. Obvious, that's an easy read. Chris, I actually believe, thinks Mad Lions is better than Rogue, which, this entire split they have been.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you that's entirely true.
Yeah.
What can heartbreak
better.
do to a team, though? That's the real question at the end of the day. Because if there's any team that's experienced the most of it in the last few months, if not the last couple of years, it's those Rogue players. Listen,
They've
I
gotten
think this
so
is their
close
split.
so many times, and they just haven't made it. And they just look worse than every other split.
The problem is, at the end of the day, like I've said this many times before, I still want G2 to win the entire thing. So, like,
Yeah, by the way,
I
they're
am
looking
a
good.
huge G2 fan. Yeah,
It doesn't matter what you want. It's probably
The
gonna
problem
happen.
right now is that you have G2 and Mad Lions, who just both look significantly better than Rogue.
I actually don't think Mad Lions is as good as they come across. And I always fire from the hip a little bit, so I'm not sure I
What?
have an entire
You?
justification from that. Yeah, and what has it done all year during playoff season? I mean, I'm fucking ripping
You think they're
right
gonna
now.
collapse?
I think it's almost like there's been enough magic in the past, right? And they've changed that roster enough to where I don't know if they have the spark anymore for postseason. I think some of their players might, but you've changed enough pieces around to where, like, you can't rely on that, right? Like, you can't put them in a corner and expect them to just come out and reverse sweep or, like, 3-2 absolute barn burner and then walk their way through playoffs by doing that. I also just, like, don't think they're getting past G2 in a playoff setting at all.
Okay.
So
I just don't know how you're not
that
excited
adds
about
to
this.
it.
This is two
All right.
teams that are fun
I'm
to
so
watch.
excited
I'm so
about
excited for
match
this.
one.
I think
this is
match one of an exciting playoffs, and this is gonna be great.
Because I'm a
I've got
Rogue
this
fan, and I
guaranteed
think
to
they're
go
just, I
5.
think they're going. No way. I think it's gonna be a 3-1.
It's definitely not going 5.
I think it's a
It's going
3-1.
5.
I think it's a 3-1.
3-1.
I like the -1.5 on Mad Lions, and it breaks my
Yeah.
heart. That's why I'm not excited about it, because
let me-
I think, unfortunately, we all expect Rogue. You expect a certain caliber out of Rogue, and I genuinely think they're just gonna fall apart.
But
I think I'm not even sure they'll get third. I think they might even get fourth.
we're also talking about a Rogue team that has been so conditioned over time to be so good, right? And they do have a break in between this to where
Yeah.
I think there's enough work that can be put in to where
That's
they
my
are at the level of
one
Mad
big
Lion.
red flag. Yeah, 100% is that. And this is the
Sorry,
fan.
Mad Lions. I said Mad Lions singular, which I guess that's one
Mad
player
Lion.
on the team, but
The Mad Lion.
This is where the Rogue fan comes out, because I'm trying not to be. I'm like, but maybe they've worked really hard the last 2 weeks, and they've come up with some secret sauce and everything. And I'm like, maybe,
Yeah.
and I get
Playoff sauce
excited.
is not
at
what
that.
they're known for.
I get excited. Well, I think when you reach the finals, like 2 or 3 splits in a row, it's definitely playoff sauce. You are.
No,
you
we've
reach the
established
you reach
that,
the
like-
Super Bowl 3 years in a row, you're doing something right.
American moment.
You want
established
to
that-
call the LEC final the Super Bowl? I don't think so. We call that
Yeah, because
World
there's
No, it's
other
nowhere
leagues.
near. I mean,
Because there are
there's
other
only
leagues.
Worlds.
Yeah, there are
Yeah,
other
that's
leagues.
like
that compete.
it's like if you make it to the conference final and then you still lose before even making it to the playoffs for Super
Nikki,
Bowl.
I mean, who else on the planet is throwing the pigskin around, right? Like, fuck. 'em.
Let me give you
Fuck
some
there.
bets. Let me give you some bets. All
Okay.
right, 3-1 correct score.
Yep.
Incorrect.
4.0. We love that.
3-1
do like
Rogue,
that.
right?
Minus
do like
minus
that.
1.5 as mentioned. 2.8. 4 kills. First blood. Right now, I'm just going to use the last 2 patches.
Yeah, it's 9 games.
9 games. First blood, Mad Lions 56%, Rogue 33%. So you can get first blood for Mad Lions at 1.85.
I think the more
They're actually-
interesting stat, like,
they're-
because the
Don't worry,
percentages
I'm going
aren't the
there.
best there,
Don't worry
but
there.
I think the more interesting one is the fact that Manline's sitting in 3rd, whereas Rogue is sitting in 10th for First Blood. So it's like
I think we're
the
Rogue-
disparity is like significant.
I think we're Rogue to
Rogue
a
is
point
by
where
far
first
the
tower. I
worst
think you
team.
meant first tower.
No, for both.
So for first tower,
Rogue is lost, and for First Blood, Rogue is lost.
and also Mad Lions a lovely 67% for
Yep.
first tower. And so for first tower, You can get the... They don't want to show me right now. Whatever that ends up being, take it. Mad Lions at first tower, because you're not going to get too much of a underdog on that.
I think the area where like Rogue has relapsed a little bit in terms of like being as dominant as they were prior, it feels like a lot of this relies on early game, because I think it feels like eons of time, right? Like we'd read these early game stats and it would just be Rogue destroying people in lane, and then after that, like some games would slip away from them late, right? Like they don't have a scaling comp. They picked into laning early. Didn't close out a game quick enough, and maybe it slipped away. But it doesn't seem like they really have that anymore. And honestly, the mid to late game isn't that good.
No.
But also in the last 9 games, like Mad Lions is still only 6-3, whereas Rogue is 4-5. It's not like a crazy discrepancy between the two teams. And I really like. I don't know. I think they're a little bit gassed up if you look at it at the end of the day. Now, will I say this? Like, the odds on Rogue to win this aren't good. I do think they're going to win, and I think it'll be 3-2. I think it's going 5. Like, I think the boys are going to have to dig one out here. And if it does go as deep as it needs to, it'll tell a story about where Rogue stands in the playoff picture. Now, at the end of the day, it's going to be extremely hard to get past G2
but
for either of these teams.
If you're going for that, I mean, you can get some great odds on Rogue for 3-2. Like, as a prediction. You can get that as a 5.0 odds. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, and the other issue that lies there is that I feel like I have to pick Rogue 3-2 because in a match that is 1.9 odds to 1.9 odds, pretty much nearly flat, right? Mm-hmm. You're looking at like an over 4.5. That's probably one of the worst you're going to see. Sure. So, yes, I guess in some regard have to pick Rogue, but I still don't even think like those 3-2 odds are crazy, because like it's not framed to be an underdog story because of the history behind the team. So makes it a little bit difficult to bet on. Now, again, Rogue winning this in 5, easy peasy. That's my final take. Sorry.
All right.
Extensive.
Well, we are pretty split across the board there. I unfortunately don't think Rogue will win. I think Mad Lions will win. I like the first blood. I like the first tower stats. So I think those are pretty good. I love the -1.5. I think that's a great bet. So that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah. 3-1, I think it's a good bet, but I don't know if I'd bet the house on it. That's the one.
I'm not betting the house. I'm honestly not betting the house on that game at all. I think it's going to be... I think Mad Lions is a better team and have been, but could Rogue show up and like has Mad Lions not had the best finish to their split? Yes, both of those things are true.
All right, fair enough.
I just don't think they were as dominant as they were early.
No, they weren't. They're not. They weren't, and they're not. But they're still significantly better than Rogue. Unfortunately, it seems
correct.
Like. So
correct.
I don't disagree. I think at the moment, I actually do think that G2 has overtaken Mad Lions as the best team in the LEC.
I mean, they finished 8-1,
yeah.
So and they fucking slammed teams.
They did. And that is actually my prediction for the second match. G2 versus Misfits. So we can get G2 at 1.252 and Misfits as a 4.01. I'm like, what incredible upset odds, but don't get baited by it. Because G2 is better than Misfits across basically every single stat. Like G2 is first for GPR, GSPD, early game rating, mid to late game rating, first blood, first dragon.
So here's my question.
It's just like
they're also just a provenly better,
and they are just
team.
significant,
like,
and
there's so
regular
much
season.
experience.
Like they've come online, they've come, like you said, finished 8-1. They're just significantly better, despite Misfits actually doing better than I expected them to.
Chris, go ahead. I've got a point about this match that I think just seals the deal on what the issue is here for Misfits. But
here's my only question: does Misfits win a game?
I think there's a chance they sneak one through. My issue with Misfits winning anything comes down to like who they're actually playing against, player by player, and not that I care about the other 4 players on Misfits because When they get wins, they don't care about them. So it comes down to Vithio versus Caps, and you look at Caps, one who stands on a playoff stage and immediately gets buffed by the crowd just cheering for G2 all the time. But you also, if Azir gets through that draft and lands in Caps' hands, I think you have an immediate problem, like right away. That pick has been insane for a lot of mid laners that are skilled on the champ. I've seen it backfire for, certain comps that don't really know how to play around it, but it's in Caps' hands. It's a dub. Ahri as well, absolutely smoked teams last playoffs with Ahri. So I think there's such a problem here for Caps to take over a game and just shut down Vithio immediately that it's almost going to come down to where Misfits players step up elsewhere, or if Vithio just gets a pick through and has a pop off game. But
so we actually saw this game on August 13th, and G2 absolutely destroyed them. The kill difference was a +13.
Yeah.
The towers was +8. They had 3 inhibs. They had 1 Baron. They had 1 extra dragon. They beat them by 14,000 gold, which is quite a lot. And Scott, to your point, Vithio did have Ahri. And so that even when you have Vithio playing kind of one of his preferred champions, doesn't necessarily make a big difference. The only reason
Silas, though, that's a pretty good response.
the only reason I asked is because to get G2 at 1.22 or 1.2, whatever you're getting him at, Misfits at +2.5 is a 1.36. And so to me, this is a Misfits team that has had a good fight. I think that they are very talented. I don't know if I feel a 3-0 coming, but a G2...
I think there's always a 3-1 on the wings. I actually like the G2 minus 1.5 at 1.6. I think that's a good bet.
That is a good bet.
And I think you can throw in the G2 minus 2.5 at 2.9.
Yeah,
and I would layer
I'd
those
stack
two.
those.
Yeah, exactly.
Those.
That's exactly.
I just think this is like a flat out G2 3-0. Like, I don't even know if it's worth putting money elsewhere, honestly. Not that I think you should go huge on an exact scoreline for an exact victor. I don't think that is a good strategy. But there's not a lot of value across the table elsewhere. So, G2 3-0 straight up, one. Honestly, if Misfits wins this, you're looking at another Mad Lion situation.
I mean, if Misfits win it, it's crazy. But there's one thing that I will say. Them bringing on board Zanzara, which I thought was, without a doubt, a downgrade, has been perfectly timed because he is like a one-trick Trundle player. And Trundle is so strong at the moment and so popular. Yeah. So it's worked out kind of well. It's
if your pillars are good, you're just guaranteed nice ganks. Like I saw Fudge get so stuck by some pillars.
I know the one you mean. Yeah, but I also saw them block themselves with a pillar, which was not so good.
Mistakes have been made, but it's in the pursuit of taking good risks. We'll get to that when we talk about the LCS. But it was a fun match.
I like G2 minus 1.5, minus 2.5. Both those bets, stack them up.
Do you have First Blood and First Dragon?
Not currently.
I do not.
It seems like patches have also lined up fairly decently for G2, just in this
G2 First Blood 1.70.
I would take that. I think that's good
for sure.
And First Dragon.
And then I have total dragons in both teams to slay a dragon, but not a first dragon currently.
Okay.
These fucking websites are I guess they're getting burned because I don't have first tower either. It's total towers.
Yeah, I think someone can put together some good odds. All right, I think we're all in agreement. G2 3-1, 3-0, pretty quick and easy. XL Fnatic. Now, this is the match I'm actually really excited about because I think these two teams are neck and neck. They are so similar in stats-wise. Even the eye test, you would say that actually Fnatic, I think, if you're looking at names on paper, Fnatic should be the better team. XL has performed better than them for most of the split, but then they had their slump, which means they nearly didn't make it into playoffs, but they did. It's a real... this is big because if Fnatic needs to win 2 matches to make it to Worlds, they need to win this match and the next one. If they win those 2, they've got enough points to make it to Worlds off of their spring split performance. So it's really like it would be huge for them.
Yeah, a lot on the line.
Of course, the team that put XL into playoffs was Vitality.
Yeah, of course.
Awesome.
But yeah, it's just a big match. It's hard for me. Like, I'm excited about just this match as a fan. The odds on Fnatic are 1.769. XL has 2.07. You can get some pretty good over 4.5 maps at 2.73, and I do think this is probably going to be a 4-5 map banger. I'm leaning towards XL. I just think they've been more consistent. I think they're more hungry. And I think that when things start to go wrong for Fnatic, they fall apart. But they did come in clutch in the final week.
Yeah, that's the part that scares me.
Yeah.
I will say the underdog odds on XL are better than the favorite odds on Fnatic, but that's always going to be there with like all the fan service that's going on with those lines. It does scare me that Fnatic got hot at the end of the split, but at the same time, they're so like capable of crumbling, and they've proven that over and over again. I feel like with a very similar roster.
And you got to remember last spring playoffs when they played way better, they didn't do great in spring playoffs. They did not.
No, they got folded by G2 in the lower bracket.
Exactly.
Like folded. They fell apart. I think XL's got that dog in them.
Yeah.
They got a taste of playoffs last split. Now it's time to actually start to do something with it. You don't build a roster just to make it into playoffs, especially not in the LEC where only 6 teams make it. So, a real playoff format. But yeah, I don't know. I think I agree with you on the consistency point, and I'm usually a person that'll bet on momentum. But for some reason, I'm not loving Fnatic here, and I think there is a chance that they fall apart.
Yeah, I think I'm biased. I'm more of a XL fan. I would love to see XL do well and kind of make a deeper run. I think it's cool for the org. I think it's a cool storyline. I think it's cool for the players. So I would just prefer that. But I don't even have any stats because they literally are flipping. Like they're either right next to each other. It's Fnatic a bit better, XL a bit better. It's not that much. I don't love any of the -1.5s, +1.5s. I would just go for like a money line. I think the XL one is good. Like I said, the over 3.5 maps. The over 4.5 maps at 2.73. I think is a good one. B&B.
Yeah, I think when you have 2 teams that are this evenly matched, you'd be foolish not to put a taste on XL to win, especially at the plus 2.12 that I'm showing. I will say, and this is completely a biased opinion, it just feels like Fnatic shows up when it comes to playoffs. This team, and I've seen it, we've all seen it in the past, we've seen it historically. Yeah. This is a playoff tested org.
They're veterans.
Right? They're veterans. And
the org is good at producing veterans.
And it feels to me at times like that matters. And so, with that, I am going to say, I'm going on a little limb, just a tiny one, and I'm not putting much behind this. I love Fnatic at -2.5.
-2.5, wow.
For
what is that?
4.90. 4.90.
Okay.
I like that. -1.5 is 2.40. If you really wanted to go the opposite way, this is like one of those ones where I'm almost inclined to put a taste on -2.5 and then -2.5 for XL at 6.80.
This is the CLG C9 match, which was I was so excited about it. It was Scoot and I were saying it was it's gonna be a banger. It was an amazing series. I had so much fun watching it. Some great league, some terrible league. And this is the exact same. I really think these 2 teams are gonna hash it out. Even if it's a 3-1, I think it'll be a very close 3-1. But I expect it to go the full 5 games. And
this is one of those.
I don't really know who's gonna win. So I've given based on the odds. These are the
over 4.5. Over 4.5 is 2.56.
I swear you don't listen to me when I talk. I've said that 3 times.
It's unbelievable. This is kind of what you said last week, though. With this game, this could end in a 3-0, but it could be a knife edge every single map. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
that's something that you said last week that, you know, kind of stuck with me. But it didn't end up happening. That the CLGC 9 match was electric.
It was.
But I think I've got a similar vibe on this one. It's XL though. It's got to be. I
want it to be.
I just want it to be for too long.
I want it to be.
Yeah, I want it to be so badly. Let me be very clear. I'm extremely biased.
Yeah.
You think it's passing of the guard? You think it's passing
I don't think it's passing
of the new?
It never will be.
I don't
Fnatic
think
will
so.
spend the money to be
I
good
think it's a. I just think XL has been fighting to get into playoffs for so long. They barely made it in last split. It was so great, and then they matched it again.
Barely
made it in this split again with Fnatic, with Vitality fighting, and they gave us like an exciting run at the end. And I'm like, you know what? It's cool to see a new team break in outside of the normal ones and kind of create that Vitality, Fnatic, XL. You know, I want to have that drama around the 6th place.
Do you know what happened?
It hasn't even existed for this long, but I'm already like bored of this Fnatic roster.
Do you know what happened the last time XL barely made it in?
Oh, they got spanked in round 1.
Yeah.
Incorrect. They lost 3-2 to Vitality.
Oh.
So this.
I thought it was like a 3-0, 3-1. Okay.
No. So this
is. They overcame that demon.
And I think, and I honestly, I think the Vitality from this split is better.
This adds credence to my pick of over 4.5, which you never said.
I don't know. It's
done with this bullshit fucking podcast.
He's always got his.
No, I think it's
a thing going.
I think it's just look, I'm just excited. It's gonna be a fun match. I think it's gonna be a lot of back and forth. I think it at times, but I can also see it like being a 3-0. So you're right, that 3-0 on one side. If you really do believe in Fnatic, you can go grab that. But I just think the part of it is I just think XL across the board has been playing really well.
I mean, this is absolutely going to be fun, but I just still don't. I'm dumbfounded as to how you're not excited by Rogue Mad Lions. That honestly bugs me more than anything about the
Sorry, I just think it's going to be a one-sided dumpster.
Okay, for the Poison Blue, baby. Let's fucking go.
Wow.
Let's go.
Fnatic fan Scoot.
Yeah.
Saw it coming. Or not Fnatic.
No, he's Rogue fan. Rogue fan's good.
No, I buy in on teams at the right time.
I mean, dude, if that happens, I'm going to be over the fucking moon. I am
that
going
truly
to.
Is.
You'll see me bouncing off the fucking walls.
You're going to come on here next week and ruin it. That's what you're going to do.
Yeah. He's going to be like, guys, I said it last week. Rogue's the best team. They're going to get crushed this week.
No. I'll be like, no. They're terrible team.
Send them packing.
Terrible team. All right.
Team.
I think terrible team. I'll keep saying it. I'll root for every opponent until Rogue wins. That would make me so happy.
All right, do it. I mean,
but you're giving me hope now. Like, I beat the hope out of me. Okay, like, why are you bringing it back?
Really, how'd you beat it out of you? Go ahead and do an outro.
All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the Gold Advantage covering the LEC. We are doing a separate episode for the LCS, so if you are interested in that league, make sure to tune in over there. There are 4 games this weekend. First 2, not so interesting. Last 2 should be great. C9 versus EG and 100 Thieves versus TL. Should be great games. Follow us on...
I know that we're still young in this esports betting world, but is it too much to ask for some futures? Is it too much to ask?
Yeah, it's
for some summer split futures.
Yeah, just a little bit of something.
Would I like to be able to put a taste on G2 to win it, or in the final?
Used to, like, make these markets.
We should be making these markets.
We should be
best of 3.
Anyway, this is a separate conversation. Mid outro. You can find us on all social media, YouTube, podcasting networks at Best of 3 Network, where you can find League of Legends content as well as our Call of Duty content covering the CDL. Season is over, so we're not uploading about that. We might do something about Roster Mania in a bit. There has been some craziness over there. I think that's about it. Give us a follow. Please like, subscribe, comment. We appreciate it, and we will see you all next week.
Peace out.
Girl Scout.